Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. Alright, so, I kind of shitty records today. There's some good ones here, too, but, yeah, there are a couple pretty shitty ones I'm going to talk about, and they're, really good shitty, too. Like, this is some quality shit, you know? Like, I listen to a lot of records that are kind of shitty, but these are, exactly what you want a shitty record to be, basically. So anyway, this one, it's funny because I thought this one just came in the mail today, and I thought it was going to be a lot shittier than it actually is. It's like a tiny bit shitty, but it looks really shitty because, look at this cover. First of all, think about how awesome it is. But, I guess what they did was they took, copies. This is their second album, and they took copies of their first album but didn't sell or whatever. They had extra covers or something, and they, pasted the new cover over it. You see that shit? So I actually don't have their first album. This is my first one, but the band is called Akila. Unless it's supposed to be Akila or something like that, if they're Spanish or something. But the address is New York. Little Neck, New York. I don't know where that is. But, yeah, I mean, look at this fucking thing. It looks like it's going to be super shitty, you know? But it's really ambitious, you know? And it's the execution isn't, perfect. You know, it's they have a standard thrash singer, I guess. You know, he's not great, but he's fine, you know. And, they lose the rhythm a little bit here and there, but it's really solid. It's actually a lot better than I expected, so I'm kind of blown away by this record. Akila. Alright, so I'm drinking. I've kind of been saving this one. I hope it hasn't fucking expired, although I don't think so. But I just found this locally. This is Swell, California. A San Diego craft brewed soda made with real cane sugar. So, it says that it contains no juice. That's good to know. So we're gonna bust this fucker open. Kind of been enjoying doing the sodas again lately, so if I can keep finding them, I might keep it up, but we'll see. I have records over there. Actually, this fucking thing was underneath my bottle opener, so that's what I was fucking around with. I didn't want to start dropping bottle caps on it and shit. You know, I'm not the most anal about my records, but I have my limits. That's a great record, too. There's sort of a fruity overtone to it. Maybe it's just me. It kind of smells a little bit fruity, although I'm not getting a whole lot through the long neck, you know? I don't know. It feels a little bit ordinary, really. Maybe it's just me. I might just not be in the mood for it, but this Swell isn't really blowing my mind. You know, I love the independent brewers and that. Although I was able to get this in South Carolina, so, they have some decent distribution. But, yeah, I could see we're on a hot day. This might be more refreshing than a more, syrupy soda. But it feels a little bit, I don't know. Maybe a little... Watery is overstating. It doesn't seem like a watery one, but, I don't know. So anyway, I'm sure y'all watch the streams that Marty Worm does with Alan Colson from Let's Talk Metal on the Heavy Metallurgy, I think the channel is called. I'm sure you can get to it from Marty Worm's channel on the off chance that you're not already aware of it. But, yeah, half the time I watch that shit and when they're talking about records, I'm like, oh fuck, I need to pull that out, you know what I mean? That happens a lot, in these, when they're doing these head-to-head things, which is funny. They did it, and then Greeno and George did it too on their, whenever it was that they streamed a few days ago. But a lot of the times I'm finding that I'll have a pick that I feel really strongly about, but the one that I really want to hear is the one that I didn't pick, you know? So it's this sort of backwards thing, well, probably because I don't know the records as well. But anyway, I'm going down a fucking rabbit hole. I've kind of been listening to a lot of Helloween, man. And it's funny, I mean, in a way, this record was sort of my entry point back into the Kiss Kiss stuff, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I used to be really down on Helloween just because I thought they were corny. And, a big part of that, I think, is just because when I was in my teens, I made stupid, weird rules about shit that didn't make sense. And found some reason or not like Helloween. I remember thinking the name was dumb, but I mean Anthrax is a dumb name too. So, well, back then I probably didn't think so. Anyway, whatever. I have a long history of not really liking Helloween to the point where when I got like the first EP in Walls of Jericho, you know, the more sort of straight ahead, speedy ones before they went down this new direction, starting with the Keeper of the Seven Keys records. When I got those, that was already kind of a big deal. But what I've really kind of realized is that this fucking record is fantastic. I love this record. And it's taken me a long time to see it, or to, like, for this record's, like, greatness to sort of reveal itself to me. Especially because it's not like I can't still see and hear why I didn't like this, you know, when it came out. Like, they look like cornballs in that fucking picture. And, like, you know, Kiske, you know, Michael Kiske, I mean, he's, like, a really good singer, is the reality, okay? But he sounds like a fucking wiener. And he still does to me, you know what I mean? It's just that I like him now, and I used to hate him, you know? I mean, all the performances on this, I don't think anyone has ever claimed the performances were anything but superior on this record. And the fact is, a lot of these songs, even some of them are really obvious and kind of corny. Like Future World, which is kind of the one that was in really heavy rotation when this came out, at least where I lived. Yeah, but you know, like I'm Alive is a great song. Yeah, there are a few of the things here that are kind of corny, but I don't know, man. It just comes together, you know. It's definitely has sort of a proggy edge to it, but it's heavy and I don't know. Maybe I never really appreciated this. This is power metal before, but I feel like I really hear it in a way now that I never really did before. So I haven't busted this out. This is this weird sort of. This is the first gamma ray in this weird sort of like. It has a jacket within a jacket, but it's actually designed that way so it fits. Yeah, so there's the album cover. It's kind of a shitty cover, really. And that's shitty like that Akila is shitty. This is shitty like bad. The Akila is like... That's shitty like fucking fantastic, you know? It's ironic that even though they have a worse cover, they have to work harder to persuade me, you know? Maybe that doesn't make any fucking sense at all, I don't know. I think it's just more because they're more removed from it, you know what I mean? They're more removed from the real world, maybe? I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure they're just normal guys, but this, when you compare shit like that, where they like have a budget and they tour and they live like as professional rock musicians, when you compare that to this is just like an insane level of professionalism, you know? Yeah, so that's Akila. I'm gonna put on the next shitty one next. Oh, actually, I'll put on. Oh, here I showed this one. I'll show this one real quick because this is another one I pulled out because of Marty and Alan, even more Alan Coulson, because this is like his favorite record of all time. And this is a really great record. Another singer I didn't really appreciate. This is another band where the singer kind of kept me away from him because I really didn't think much of you know, the Tyrant. You know, but I don't know, man. You know, it just works. It just works, and the songs are great, and I fucking love this record. You know, I don't feel like I'm really saying very much intelligent about it, but you know, again, it just brims over with sincerity, man. It's fucking awesome. So let's put a shitty one, though. Okay, this is a good one. This is a German one that I bet a lot of people haven't heard of. This is Hellbreath, and the record is called "Slave of God." And I'm going to show you the pictures of the band in a second, but because they're fucking fantastic. But I'm going to put it on first because this record was ending anyway. Yeah, this one is one of these weird plastic inners, which is weird. I tend to associate these more with like medium-sized labels, you know? It seems like on private press records, you usually get those white paper inners, the ones with the rounded corners, whereas with like a Metal Blade or Combat level release, you'll get like these plastic inners, you know? But not so much in the actual private pressings. Or maybe more of the private pressings that I own just have jackets that have been, or not jackets, but inner sleeves that have been swapped out. I actually have a friend who hates those plastic inners to the point where every time he gets a record, he actually takes the trouble to replace the plastic inner with a paper inner sleeve. And he doesn't give a shit about the paper inner sleeve either. It's not like he replaces it with like, you know, Mobile Fidelity fucking Sound Lab inner sleeves. He just puts in like regular ones like this. Doesn't give a shit. He doesn't even care if it's like from a different label printed on the inside. He just hates the fucking plastic sleeves. And I find that really funny. Anyway, check out that label. It's like super cheap. Hell breath. Alright, here we go, man. Alright, this band is another singer band, right? This singer is really bad, but like after a while, it just fucking fits. The band's actually pretty competent too. I'm probably making them sound shittier than they are, but the cover is super shitty, and the band is pretty shitty. Actually, the band really isn't pretty shitty. I keep going back and forth, man. It's kind of shitty. Look at these fucking guys, though. Just fucking smoking. He doesn't look like a metal guy at all. I mean, except he kind of does. That's probably like what I look like. But they totally don't look like fucking metal guys, like the way they're dressed and shit. And you gotta love the red printing on there that you can barely read. You know, imagine if it were CD. It would be absolutely impossible. It's a pretty cool riff, isn't it? Like, it's really passionate, you know? What the fuck is that? Oh, yeah. It's a Vine Sauce stream I started in the background, I forgot. This guy sounds like he's choking half the time. That riff is kind of shitty too. This record's great. This one really isn't shitty at all. This is Omen. And this isn't the Omen that was on Metal Blade. This is the Hungarian Omen. That's called Brutalis Tango. Yeah, and this is just really solid, like, metal. Like, if you like Poco Gep or something like that, I like these guys better than them. Now, I think they're a little bit... I'm not going to call some fucking Hungarian band overrated, right? But to the degree that Poco Gep is known, I feel like people, like, overrate them a little bit. Like, I think the Hungarian thing plays in their favor as far as people's perception of them, frankly. You know what I mean? It makes them a little bit cooler than the band actually is. I think these guys live up to the expectation a little bit better than those guys. So yeah, if you come across one of these, by all means, and this is the only record I have, but this Omen made it, like, at least 2 or 3 records. There's one before this one. Yeah, this is another really shitty one too. Greeno showed this one, his stream the other night. He was like, oh, you know, maybe since it's South American, maybe I'll know something about it, but I'd never heard of these guys. It's a Brazilian band. I actually got this from Hell's Headbangers. It was pretty cheap, so... Anyway, this record is so, like, amateurish and, like, kind of shitty that way. Except on this one, the playing's actually sloppier than these other ones, you know? I mean, like, this whole band kind of sounds like how the singer of Hellbreath sounds. But it's awesome. You know what I mean? You know, one thing about some bands like that is, you know, if they can't do all this weird technical shit, then they have to write a good, like, hook, you know? And these guys kind of seem to focus on that. I mean, they play fast, you know what I mean? It is a thrash record. It's not like, you know, it's super shitty, but it's not like confidently. It's not like they're playing those at that speeds just smooth through, like, you know, on Kill 'Em All or something like that, you know? This sounds like some guys working really hard and, like, also writing songs they can deliver, you know? And they just barely do. And what a great cover, you know? So, yeah, they have another record, too. I might snag that one of these days. But I like this first one a lot. It's called The Final Conflict. And the band is called Voodoo. I don't know anything about them, except I think the label that reissued this... Yeah, Lost Realm Records. I don't know, it says made in EU. But I actually don't know where this label is. I've never had any dealings with them. It says, for those who didn't believe in the power of voodoo, fuck you. Go to hell, die by the needles of voodoo. It's so good, man. Is this a weird record, this Hellbreath one? Like, I'm really kind of fascinated by records like this. It just seems so, like, disconnected from reality. Probably hammed up the shitty thing a little bit more than the weird thing, but, like, a really good quality shitty record is just fucking weird and, like, detached, you know? This is, like the Vodou, but, like, played a lot better and probably written a little bit better, too. This is Strana Oficina. And this is the only one I have, but this is their first EP, I think. Yeah, it's just self-titled. Yeah. This is really good. It's also pretty speedy. You know, they kind of slow it down a little bit here and there, and maybe, I wouldn't even really say it drags in place. It kind of feels like they're going for a little bit of sort of a commercial thing where there's no commercial potential anyway, and they should just let it go and be themselves. But maybe that is themselves, so what the hell do I know? Anyway, it's a really cool record in spite of a few little parts that I would have changed around a little if it had been my band. And they're kind of huge as far as Italian metal bands go, I guess. Like, this shit is hard to get over here in the US, but I get the impression they're pretty well regarded. I mean, people who are deeper into this shit than I am. If I'm completely wrong on that, I'll own it, but that's sort of the sense I get. I don't remember if I hyped this one last time or not. This record is fucking fantastic. This Triton record, Blood of Kings. And I was surprised because, like, this is like a new record. This is just, copyright 2021, okay? So this is the band that, you know, I've talked about them before. They were sort of a little bit of a glammy edge. Had a little bit of sort of a glammy edge to them, but were mostly just straight ahead metal, you know what I mean? It's like the sort of band that me and Chromie D completely agree on. You know what I mean? If you watch me and you watch Chromie D and you get a sense of what we both dig, those are the bands where we really converge. But this record is great, man. Like, it definitely has a cheesy edge, you know what I mean? There are some times when they, like, if you're listening, I was listening to this record, when I put it on at first, I was like, I wonder if they stuck with, because I didn't read the song titles or anything, right? I was like, I wonder if they stuck with the Jesus thing. I assume they probably did, but, you know, maybe they went a little more secular or whatever. Well, they did not leave me wondering for very long. And it's not even so much because of the lyrics as much as just some of the, like, styles, you know what I mean? Some of, like, the interludes and shit are cheesy in sort of a CCM-ish kind of way. And they really kind of go full CCM on side 4. Like, the first 3 sides of this are great. And side 4 really kind of sucks. But dude, the first 3 sides, man, are so worth the price of the record. It's like, because it's like epic and huge and super corny, man. But like, if you're in the right headspace, this record is awesome, man. Like, I enjoyed this so much when I played it. I played it like a couple of times last week. I like really enjoyed that Triton record a lot. This came, if you want it, by the way, I think there's still copies at Retroactive Records or Boone's Overstock. Because it's the same guy who runs both. So you can go to Boone's Overstock and get this. I don't think they cost that much. It's a double, but I could be wrong, though. It might be like a $35, $40 record. So. What else do I have to show? Oh, yeah. Since I was talking about shit from people's streams, I actually pulled this out, too. This is after watching Greeno. Actually, I kind of didn't pull this out. What kind of happened is God wanted me to listen to this. And the form that God took was that a friend of mine here locally was like helping his mom move, and he just like sent me a text. He was like, "Hey man, I got a couple boxes of records here. Do you want them? If not, I'm taking them to Goodwill." I was like, "Well, shit, I can at least take a look at them." You know, my expectations were super low, man. I was totally expecting it to all be like Perry Como, because this is supposed to be his mom's records and shit. Well, there's a little bit of metal in there. Like, there's some Iron Maiden records, and I was like, "Dude, Alex, I think these are probably your records, man." I even told him so, but he didn't give a shit. Anyway, this record was in there. And, this record has tempted me so many times, because I kind of like the first EP, but, like, you know, it still sounds like Ratt. But I've had that one around for a long time. I don't really play it very often, but I kind of like it, you know what I mean? Like, that song, that Cop is good. It's like, this is early Ratt, you know what I mean? This isn't like... So it's kind of tempted me, but I really didn't want to hear that song again, Round and Round. And, so I finally listened to it after, like, you know, Greeno hyping a little bit, discussing it with him. And dude, I still think this record sucks, man. I really do. I actually listened to it twice. And I sort of decided, and the reason why is because half the fucking songs, like Round and Round, I don't. There's something about that songwriting that I just like don't like. That chorus is kind of bad, but I don't really know how to articulate it because I love like other types of glam. It's this really specific type, you know what I mean? It's a certain way that the hook is incorporated, but like half the album is like basically sounds like Round and Round to me, you know what I mean? Fucking all of side 2 pretty much. And like the first song wasn't so bad. I don't know, you know something? I didn't know the song word when I put it on. So the first 2 songs were kind of good, but maybe it's because I was relieved because they weren't Round and Round. And then after I actually heard that song, every other song sounded like Round and Round to me too. That actually might explain it. Because, I swear, I felt like, I mean, because the songs, they're not even like, it's not that they sound the same, like in terms of like the chord progression or note. There's just something about the writing approach, you know what I mean? Something about the way that the songs are put together, something sort of in their guts that just sounds the same on every single fucking song on this record, you know what I mean? And it's a hook that I don't like, you know? And that's why, like, I feel like I'm having trouble articulating this because there's lots of other shit. You know, talk about, like, these bands that are, like complicated shit, like, you know, like Akila, you know? They're like Voivod and shit like that. But I also love shit like AC/DC and, like, Slade. I just listened to Slade like, last week, you know? And, like, so if Ratt is, like, sort of in between, they're, like, a little more complicated than, like, the really dumb AC/DC shit. What's wrong with it? I don't know, but there's like a few bands that have that kind of sound, like 80s glam bands. There's something, Poison kind of has it too. There's just something about them I don't like, you know what I mean? And the Crew got it, by the way. I don't think they have it so much on the, well, they do have it as a thing. I don't know, they pulled it off. I don't know. Anyway, the moral of the story is, I gave Ratt another chance, and I still think they suck. Yeah, here's another one that doesn't suck, actually. Another one from Marty. I pulled this out. I don't really know what to say about this because, like, I feel like I haven't spent enough time with this one to really talk about it intelligently. But I had the first 2 Blind Guardians, and they're both really good. I don't really feel like I've gotten under their skin, like, or they've gotten under my skin, as it were, you know, to the point where, like, I listen to it and I enjoy it, but I don't feel like I've gotten it all yet. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it there with Blind Guardian, except it flex by showing the record, right? Oh, here's a dumb one. Dude, I played this one kind of a lot, man. We're up over 20 minutes, so I'll probably hang up with him. Dude, this was a case in point. Fucking, okay, so when Greeno was streaming, he and George, they put, one of them, it might have been Laz who made this song, but they pulled out this one and Breaker by Accept Head to Head, okay? And I was like, for me, I was like, that's easy. Breaker is my favorite Accept album, and it's it's a 10 out of 10. I love that record, right? Like, it'd probably be my top, like, well, whatever. This is like, you know, kind of a throwaway thing, right? But I was like, you know something? Accept is the answer. I didn't have to think about it, but Crocus is kind of the one I want to hear right now. And I gotta say, man, I've really been enjoying this record. So, I played it a few times, like, over the last week or two, something like that. It's a stupid record, you know what I mean? I can see why I might not have liked him before, but there's nothing not to like here is the thing, you know what I mean? Except that it's stupid, you know? So if you don't like Crocus, just fucking get over yourself, you know? Alright, I'm kind of exaggerating now, okay? Like, I feel like with some of these bands, it kind of becomes conventional wisdom around the vinyl community that, like, bands like them or like Striper or Helix, people just seem to agree on liking, and I'm like, dude, those bands are all bad though. What the fuck? You know, when did it become like the conventional wisdom that they're good? So I feel like by saying anything good about Crocus, I'm like playing into that. You know what I mean? So all I'm trying to say is you can hate Crocus and still kind of love the record. You know what I mean? I mean, those pictures are fucking hilarious, dude. Fucking 10 out of 10 on the fucking band photos. God damn. Alright, man. I said I was going to talk about shitty records, didn't I? That might be the best shitty one of the lot. Yeah, I just came across this recently and wanted to check them out too, because I've been checking out shitty bands. This record's just bad, dude. I didn't like it at all. I'll play it again before I like decide what to do with it. But anyway, that's it for now. Actually, no, it's not it. This is it now. Because I even kind of liked this one the last time I played it. Now, I've played this record about once a year and go, am I going to like it this time? And every time it's no, it's just fucking bad. But the last time I played this, I kind of liked it. And, like, I'm almost afraid to play it again. I almost want to quit while I'm ahead, you know? But maybe next time I'll come around and talk about how great a record this is. And go ahead and call me on my bullshit because it's bad too. But I'm thinking I might kind of like it anyway. So that is where we're going to leave it. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.